My research has always been focused on religions in Japan, Buddhism in Japan. My wife's specialty is Japanese Buddhist art, and likewise, she was also focused on Japanese Buddhist art in Japan. But of course, we also knew that here in our own backyard, here in Hawaii, we have our own Japanese Buddhist temples. They have their own histories, they have their own art. So finally, when we retired in 2006, we were liberated from having to keep our focus just on Japan. And so that is when we turned our attention to the temples here in Hawaii. It took us about 2 to 3 years to visit all of the temples. There are 90 temples, Japanese Buddhist temples here in Hawaii.
In our book is dedicated to our 2 grandchildren because we're worried that by the time they grow up, they won't be able to see the temples other than through pictures. When we did the book and we were going to have an opening, JCCH approached us and said, what about an exhibition? And we thought that was a wonderful idea because people don't realize the treasures that are in the temples in Hawaii.
We thought that it'd be good to organize temple tours. So this is kind of a package deal, you might say. The book is coming out, the exhibition is being organized, and we thought it'd be perfect time to take people out to temple tours. This is the Palolo Kannon Temple. It represents one of the earliest stages of the kind of temple that Japanese immigrants put up. It's in an old residence that has been converted into a temple, and coming here gives us a sense or give us a little bit of the flavor of what it might have been early in Hawaii's history.
This is the headquarters of the Honganji sect. What we're looking at is a wonderful example of Japanese Buddhism in Hawaii, which retained its Japaneseness but has international elements and incorporated Americanization. If you look at the outer congregational area where the congregation sits, it's very Americanized. It looks like a Protestant church. The main altar is marked off from the rest of the room. It's raised, and it also has a kind of curved edging around the top, which is taken from Mogul Indian motifs. That is, it's Islamic motifs that have been incorporated into a Buddhist temple, a Japanese Buddhist temple.
At the very top are stupas, which are indicative of Indian Buddhism in Japan. If you use your imagination and take the stupas off, the building looks like most people would say the White House, which is not a bad guess because it's also based on British colonial administrative style.
So it's a blend of West and East in these temples.
They've done an excellent job. And what I really admire is that they had gone to visit and talk to the resident ministers. So I think they took 2 years to prepare that book, which is very, very important for our Buddhist community.
A lot of people who are born into religion don't really have any idea about what their temples were. So their contribution is really important. You know, I'm deeply grateful to the Tanabes because they've added to my own knowledge.
I know that the Buddhist community, especially the Hawaii Buddhist Council, are always touching bases with Dr. Tanabe. And we have asked Willa to show her Buddhist art, which is also important because we know so little about Buddhist art.
You know, the spirit of the JCCH award, I think, should go to people who really exemplify some of what's in the motto of the Japanese Cultural Center of Hawaii, which is talking about heritage, diversity, and looking to the future. And George and Willa Tanabe do exactly that by sharing the wealth of their knowledge with the general community and making it fun.
So the greatest satisfaction was to see people come away from these tours feeling that they had learned something. Either it was totally brand new, or for a lot of local people, something that they had seen and they were familiar with but didn't quite understand what it stood for. And to see them gain this kind of understanding was very satisfying.
And working together on a project where all sorts of people contribute, ministers, the JCCH staff, everyone. It brings everyone together and creates a community and creates a wonderful feeling.